Hey, Tyler. I'm just getting set up here, man. I just shared it out on Twitter. It makes everything kind of freeze up for a second. We got us a little project here to start off with. I'm gonna give it a few minutes for everybody to get in here before we move this fucker the last little bit. Hey, Christopher, thanks for stopping by. We're about to do something fucking epic. For those of you who don't know, this is a giant quartz crystal that I'm attempting to get to the top of this 3-foot stone column that sits in the meadow next to my camp. This crystal was about almost half a mile down the creek, and I moved it up here by hand, inch by inch the entire way. Finally got it up here, built the ramp, and I was not going to set this damn crystal on the top of that column unless we were capturing it on film, and I figured we'd capture it right here live. So that's how we're starting off this live stream. Whenever we get this thing up the ramp the rest of the way, we got to tilt it, set it into place, and then get all of that rigging out of the way and leave the crystal balanced on a point. So it's going to be sitting on a point with a wider end sticking up. It's going to look like a diamond whenever we get diamond shape whenever we get it set up there to the top of the column. After we get this little bit of fun done, then we'll be going down to the cottage build and working on our fireplace. And we got to do some work to the inside of the structure before we can run the fireplace up the back wall. We got to chink up the inside wall that the fireplace will rest on so it has time to cure up and dry, and we got a good solid foundation for that chimney to attach to. So I'm going to get rigged up here. So all I have to do right now is I got to very gently turn this 200-pound plus fucking crystal up to the top of the column, tilt it, and then knock all the rigging out of the way without the crystal falling off of the column. So this is an insane wilderness endurance challenge. It has beat the shit out of me for weeks now, but this is the final moment of it. All I gotta do is be able to turn that thing, tilt it up onto the column, get all the rigging out of the way without it falling over, and the project is done. The challenge is met. Once we get this challenge done, then we go over to the build and we finish off with there. So I'm gonna get up there. I'll tilt you down a little bit more so you can see a little bit better. Whoop. I guess I tilted you too far because you done fell off the tripod. All right, let's try that one more time. Tighten you up a little bit. Get on with it. I'm getting it. Just give me a second. This damn thing has broken my back, and I have moved this by hand all the way up the creek. These are my these are tactical gloves, and the damn crystal has eaten through the tips on the tactical gloves. Insane. Rough edges all the way around, and every time I move this thing a couple of inches, it just saps my strength. I put every bit of myself into this damn crystal over the past couple of weeks. So let's get up there and tilt that sumbitch up, and then we'll cut all this rigging out. This high up, it's hard to get a leverage point. I don't even know if I can move it. It's gonna be close. I got a point that I'm trying to line up with a tiny little circle at the center of the column. If it's too far one way or the other, then it's not going to sit right. That's gotta be it right there. Now I just gotta lift the fucker up. And I don't know if I can. It's too high up. Somehow get a grip on it. Never leave your cordage tied to the tree. Tilted a little bit, I think. We're pretty well centered. What do y'all think? How's it looking? Oh, damn sun glare. That was perfect timing. Here, we'll take a look at it a little bit better. Sorry about that glare, guys. I didn't know that was happening. Finally got that damn thing up to the top of the column. Might need to move it a little bit. But that was something you ain't gonna see anybody else fucking do. Holy shit. That was crazy. Kinda is. This is the, we're sitting in the meadow that sits right next to my build. This column was here whenever we first wandered into the woods. It was probably an old well, like a hand pump well from back in the 1800s. And I've been debating and debating and debating on what I wanted to use it for. And then, on one of our previous live streams, we happened across this giant ass quartz crystal. So, I took to the task of hauling that quartz crystal up here and then rigging up the ramp, which was the only safe way to do it without any modern tools. Was just to build, you know, do what I needed to do to build a ramp to get it up there. And that's not the only feature. And we're not done with this yet. And here, I'll show you what we got going on. Early last spring, whenever we first got the idea for this column, I brought in ivy. And it's starting to climb up the column and spread across the ground. Yeah, I hope so. Because this is where we are going to have everybody's names carved in stone. It's going to be right here. All of my subscribers, the ones who support me the most, will have their names carved in stone right here underneath this giant crystal. So this is a time capsule, to be honest. But we brought in that ivy last spring. It took, it's wrapped all the way around the column and completely encircles the column, and it's just now starting to climb up it. So next summer, this column's going to be wrapped in ivy going all the way up to that giant crystal. And then we'll, over here to the side, we'll have the marker that has all of my top supporters' names engraved in stone right there beside the crystal in the meadow. So obviously it needs cleaned off again. Because I was rolling it through the woods. So we gotta bring in some water. I'll probably bring in something to scrub it off with, like a wire brush, and get all of the crystal facets and these kind of here where it sparkles and actually looks like a crystal instead of just a rock. So there's a lot of dirt and clay that need to be cleaned off of it just from tumbling it through the woods. Once I get that cleaned off, it'll be a gorgeous piece. And then, not only do we have the ivy growing around the column, but I'm starting to landscape a path going up to it. So we come back here a little ways. I'll be putting wood and stone on each side, and hopefully the wood and stone will grow moss just like you see on this log over here. I want that mossy border. And then we'll bring in some blue shale and pave this path going up to the stone column. So this is the time capsule of my bushcraft build. Not only are we doing the build, but we took on this epic wilderness endurance challenge with this giant crystal. And then we're going to take a large stone that we got over there by the build, and all of my top supporters get their names carved into that stone, and it'll be set right here beside the crystal. And then after we leave camp, all of this stays right here. So the build itself might not stand forever. It's going to stand for a while. You'll see that in a minute. But the foundation of the camp will be there. and this stone column is going to be here. So, and so will the stone with everybody's names carved into it. So if you want your channel name carved into it, or your actual name carved into it, well, it's whatever you want. But my top supporters get their name carved into a stone right underneath this piece. And that's my thank you to everybody who's followed me along this journey and supported me the whole way. Dipping. Alright, we're getting ready to head over and get some bushcrafting done. So if you could, please share this out on Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, whatever website you favor. Let everybody know that we're live streaming. We're about to go over there to the cottage that sits just over that way. It's right there. And we're going to be getting to work. That is the crowning achievement right there. I'm so happy with that. I could just sit here and look at that all fucking day long. Huntsman's Bushcraft Camp is not going to be like anything else you've ever seen, I swear. And we're going to do a little bit something extra right here on the live stream day to prove that point one more time whenever we get up to the build. So let's head up that way. We got our crystal finally mounted. We'll get down the hill here and we'll take a look at it from a distance one more time. And then we'll come back and visit for those who come in later in the stream. Look at that. Just so happens that today of all days, while we're live streaming, during the hunter's moon, one beam of sunlight is coming down there and hitting that crystal. That's a good idea, Greg. I like it. We can put a little mark on the sides of the column. But what are the odds that that one beam of sunlight's hitting that crystal? It just happens to be coming down the canopy right at this time. All right, we captured that on film. Let's get to work. That's called a sign. I agree, Greg. All right, here's the ass end of our build. What we got going on here today is we're going to build our firebox for the fireplace, which is that big ass fucking hole right there. We got the rocks right there. We got clay all mixed up. These are river rocks. And we're gonna, before we even get started, these rocks came out of the creek. Everybody who has any fucking common sense at all will tell you never to use stones from a creek or a river or a flood zone in your campfire ring. And the reason you don't do that is because they tend to retain water and they'll fucking blow up on you. And then you get these hot shards of rock shooting out into your face. And everybody who tells you that is absolutely right. You should never use river rock or creek rock or anything that's been in a floodplain for any amount of time as your fireplace or as your fire pit, just because of the hazard of it blowing up. But we can do it because we're not using these for the inside of my fireplace. What we are using is going to be clay panels. So we're going to put a 2 to 3 inch thick clay liner on the inside of the fireplace that will protect the stone from the heat of the fire so they don't blow up. So you can use the creek rock as long as you don't have it exposed to raw flame. If you encase them in clay, then they should be protected enough where you don't have to worry about them blowing up. You shouldn't have a fucking fire that hot anyway. So we're going to get started on that. We'll get our firebox built today, and that's got to dry up before we can start running the chimney up. And you see these stones that we have here, these are just anchor points for the chimney to go up the wall. So we got that going on there too. Those are, you know, in there solid now. We're going to start with getting the firebox, which is just laying these stones, and I have not placed these stones, so I don't know how they're going to fit up there. We're going to have to try and see. We got a good wealth of clay up here today, because one more thing before we get started with the dirty work, because I am going to get muddy. We're going to come around here. This is the front face of the shelter. We still got to put the top door frame in and leave the air vent at the top. So we're going to try to get that done today. But my priority goal for the day is this inner back wall up here. And the reason I want to get this done, you can see that chinking has pressed through and it's all dry and stable now. But what I need to do is I need to get this inside done so that wall is basically fucking solid rock with a wood core. That way, whenever I get my firebox built and I start running that chimney, this is all cured. It's going to take it like a week to get completely dry. So I need to get that done today, along with the firebox. That way, when we start building the chimney, it can go up in sections and I don't have to worry about the stability of this wall. So that's my priority for the day. Not even so much the firebox, because that's easy. That's only going to take us a few minutes to get that laid out. But getting in here and getting that completely covered. And I want the inside of this completely covered. It's got to be a smooth surface. And the reason I want that to be a smooth surface is because, keeping with the crystal theme that we got going on over there in the meadow, I've been doing a lot of hiking, and I got me a bag here of crystals and sea glass and all kinds of shit from the river that runs right down by our camp. There's all different colors of crystals and sea glass in this bag, and we're going to take, while this is wet up here, we're gonna completely cover this in clay, and then we're going to embed all of that sea glass and crystal into that wall. So we got that going on, and we're also going to be putting 2 candle holders into the wall. We're going to be just setting stone right here in between the beams, putting clay over it where the stones peek out, just like you saw on the other side, and that will be a candle rest. And then once we get this wall completely covered in clay, we'll take blue shale, that crushed blue shale that we used on the front of the shelter, and we'll build a little arch right behind where the candle sits, so it reflects that light a little bit better and helps protect the wall from the candle heat. So we'll have 2 candle holders on each side of this wall. It'll be completely encased in clay, and then it'll be encrusted with all of the sea glass and crystals that I brought in from down at the river. So that's what I want to get done today. Door, and go ahead and case that top triangle in clay, and then I gotta start bringing the clay and the pieces of wood fitting for all this down through here. All this gets chinked up with clay, so all I'll be doing is just taking some of my scrap wood over there. I'll be filling in the bigger gaps, and this whole thing gets covered in clay, so that gap's not going to be there no more. And you can see how I'm just piecing it together right there. That's just there. It's solid. It's not going anywhere, but that's just there so the clay has something to hold on to while it's dry. And once it's dry, it's just going to be like a rock wall, just like this here. So a lot of things that I want to try to get done today. We're going to start with laying out that firebox, and then we'll get muddy on that inside wall. So the priority's that inside wall, though. Just because I know it's inside, it's not going to get direct sunlight. It's going to take forever for that shit to dry. And I need that dry before we can run the chimney. So we get everybody situated here. Try to set you up in a good spot. This is the part where things tend to start getting a little boring, because I gotta get muddy, I gotta get this stone hot up there, and I got the work part to do. Hey Jefferson, glad you could make it. You missed the highlight of the beginning of the stream. We're just getting ready to start building our firebox and get the clay casing put on the firebox. Then we're gonna go inside the build. We're gonna get the inside wall chinked up so that has plenty of time to dry so we can run our chimney up. And there goes my chipmunks. Every time we live stream, those chipmunks come out. And then tonight's episode of Huntsman, when you guys are watching it, I had taken a break over in the meadow, and I was sitting by this like dead standing. We might even go over there and look at it. So I'm sitting on this log right next to this piece of dead standing, and this little tiny mouse poked his head out of the hole in this tree and just sit there looking at me for the longest time, like a good 2 minutes, just sit there staring at me, tilting his little head back and forth like he was a dog, just looking at me. I didn't move. I didn't try to go for the camera or anything like that. He just sat there looking at me, and then finally he scurried down and ran off into the meadow. I waited there for a little bit for him to come back so I could get him on film. I had the camera all set up while he was out of the way so I didn't spook him, but he didn't come back. But I guarantee you I'll get that mouse on film too. So I'm going to haul the stone up here. We'll get this laid out a little bit, take a look at what we got to work with. I don't know how this stone's going to fit here. We don't need a big firebox because the shelter's not ginormous, but we do need to get it up. So let's get to work. always fun. Let's see. Alright guys, I'll give you a better look here real quick, and then we gotta go get some more water. And I'm a mess, so let's see if we can turn this around. Hey Kelly. Simple procedure. Just stacking the rocks, encasing it all in clay. Time and weathering will make it look like that eventually, so it'll blend right in with the wall. And making sure that I merge it with the wall real heavily on that joint. So I encase every bit of the rock in clay, and then as it rains and weathering and things like that, we get a nice footer down at the base, just because all of that clay runs down, and it'll end up looking like that. So whew, ran out of water, and that took a lot more clay than what I had anticipated. So yeah, that's just about as high as our firebox almost needs to be. We might go up one more layer, but I need more stone for that. So we're gonna let that sit for right now. I already burnt through all of my clay just building that part. We'll take a look at it from the inside. Hey Dixie, glad you could make it. We're getting the firebox built here at the build and closing in this back wall a little bit. So there's what our fireplace looks like from the inside so far. So we gotta bring in 2 small stones to do that, the side, like right here, get that filled in, and then another layer. I think that'll be just about enough. Might take a small layer to the top of that, like small stones, 1 row of small stones, maybe bring it up another 2 or 3 inches, but that's gonna be our fireplace. And then on this inside, all of this has got to be smoothed out and sealed to the stone, so we don't get no drafting along the base, because whenever we light a fire in here the first time, it's going to crack. It's going to fire this clay. It'll crack the first time, but then eventually it'll start looking like pottery, getting the same kind of shine to it that pottery does. And you know, then that, you know, all the smoke and everything kind of glares it up a little bit too. So we just want to make sure that this is all attached to the wall real nice and solid. It ain't going to fall over while this is drying. We'll get this backside smoothed out, and then on this inside curve, this has got to come in another inch or 2 to protect the river rock from the fire itself. So the way I'll do that is I'll actually make clay panels. I'll lay them out on a rock just like this here. I'll take some ash and I'll put on the rock, then I'll lay a clay tile out on top of that ash so it slides right off of the rock, it don't stick to it. I'll let that dry for a day or 2. And then whenever it's just pliable enough to fit it in here, then I'll lift up that clay tile and bring it in here and just fit it right in. So that's sort of a firewall between the river rock and the raw flame. You don't have to worry about the river rock blowing up that way. And then by design, and we're going to talk about this one more time. I talked about this on my last live stream, and I get heat for this topic, but we're going to do it right here at the fireplace. The way a fireplace works is the heat rises. So you got your firebox, and you got concentrated heat inside that firebox. The heat rises up through the chimney, which causes drafting across your floor. It takes the cold air in, heats it up, and shoves it out. That drafting from inside of your shelter has to go up through the chimney. That's how your fireplace works. So you don't need outside ventilation for your fireplace. It's going to pull the air from your shelter into the pit and then shoot it up through the chimney. So the cold air is getting shot out of your shelter. That's why you do the fireplace instead of just an open fire. So here's the thing though. Heat rises. As that's pulling cold air in and shooting it up, I have to control that draft to where I'm still getting radiant heat coming out of the fire and going up to the ceiling. And then if you look at the shelter from this perspective, what's going to happen is I got the fire over here, right? Cold air shoots into the fire. That's the draft. Because the heat's rising. It's creating a vacuum inside the firebox. So it's pulling that cold air in and straight up. The radiant heat coming out of the fire comes over top of the shelter, across the roof, and back down. And you get this circular pattern to your heat flow. And the reason you get the circular pattern is you get your fire nice and hot. It's pulling that cold air in. That's creating a vacuum back here. So your radiant heat gets pulled down to your floor to fill in that vacuum. And before you know it, once that cycle keeps going, you're actually pumping hot air into your fireplace. And your shelter is at the temperature that you want it to be. Now, in order to control that, it's the height of your chimney and the width of the chimney. You don't want a chimney that's too big. You want it longer, or as long as you can get it, and well above the top of your structure. So whenever that draft starts happening, it increases the pressure, the upward pressure. So all of that heat energy that's coming right off of the top of your fire has to be so concentrated inside of your fireplace that it's basically blowtorching right up and sucking all of that cold air out of your shelter, and you get that cycle going. So whenever you're building a fireplace, you want your firebox a fairly decent size, but you want your chimney narrow and long. That's what's going to give you that circular motion to your heat. What I brought up before is fire reflectors do not fucking work. They don't work like a chimney works. They don't work like an enclosed shelter works, where you're actually cycling heat through a space. If you don't have a roof over top of your fire, it don't matter how big your fucking fire reflector is, the heat's just going straight up. It can't come back down because you're drafting from all sides, including where your fire reflector's at. And what radiant heat doesn't get absorbed by your fire reflector does not make it back through that fire itself and to you. So you ain't getting shit out of that exchange. I don't care what anybody tells you. We build a fireplace because we know how heat works. They build fire reflectors because they don't know how fucking heat works, and they read it in a book. They'll put anything in a book to fill the pages up. Daddy needs a drink. We got bourbon today. Then we're gonna go down and get cleaned up. We'll case these this last little bit, and I used up all my fucking clay, and I wanted to get this top wall done. Either that's not gonna happen today, or we're gonna go dig some clay. It ain't no big deal either way, because that's mostly decorative. For those of you who just came in, before I go wash the clay off of my hands and fill up our water bottles one more time, I know a couple of you missed the start of the stream, so we're going to walk down here right quick, and we'll show you the crowning achievement for the day. You don't need to be looking at my ugly mug when you can look at the woods. We're going to do this a couple times here in the stream, so anybody that has already seen this crowning achievement for the day, I do apologize if it gets a little repetitive, but we want everybody to have a chance to see this thing, because we did put so much fucking work into it that it was just absolutely fucking insane. It took me almost 3 weeks to get this damn thing done. Yeah, the leaves are turning. Slowly but surely. We're going to have a lot of gold and red. Here's our crowning achievement for the very start of the stream. We'll bring one of our water bottles up and wash this damn thing down. Get all our rigging and everything cleaned up. But we got our crystal up there to the top of our column. Looking pretty too. And not only did we get the crystal up to the top of the column, but while I was working on getting the crystal to the top of the column, I noticed that the ivy was already starting to climb up it. So by next spring, that thing is going to look majestic. Yeah, Dixie, we got that motherfucker up right at the beginning of the stream. So when the live stream's over, you can go back and see how we did it. But yeah, we finally got it up after lugging it down the creek for, well, almost 3 weeks. We finally got that sumbitch up there. And she's looking majestic. That's a memory right there. We made us a memory with this fucking big ass crystal. That's a monster too. Heavy sumbitch, let me tell you. That's why that was worse than dragging a deer through the woods. Yep, that's a memory. Alright, let's go get cleaned up and get us some more water. I got one pit left, well, about half a pit left of clay. We're going to go ahead and put that on the firebox, I guess. The interior decorating is probably going to have to wait till later. That pisses me off too. I didn't think that firebox was going to take that much clay, but it took a lot to fill in the gaps between the stones, and they really do got to be filled in really heavy, like all the way through. I still got one small stone to bring up for that gap there, and one piece. Well, that one over there is okay. So I just need a small stone for that gap right there. We might grab that while we're down there, and we can go ahead and seal that top of the firebox off and get that done. At least that's two achievements for today. So I can get my bottles all together while I'm holding the phone. Front yard looking pretty. Oh, wait till you guys see. After the live stream tonight at 8, we do have a premiere episode of our regular Huntsman show that normally airs Friday night at 8. It did not air this last Friday because tonight is the Hunter's Moon. So we saved the episode to celebrate the Hunter's Moon right here with the live stream from camp, and with a premiere episode later on tonight at 8. Wait until you see some of the footage that we got from HB and his boys and down here at camp while I was filming that episode. It is absolutely fucking epic. Look at that sun glare, man. It's just flashing. I'm gonna give you all epilepsy trying to show you the shelter. It's just a bad time of day to try to see that damn thing. Alright, we go down here to the washing rock. I always lean on this one rock. I don't know why. This one big ass rock, I always sit down on it to clean up. That's the washing rock right here at the Emerald Pool. Let me sit you guys up here real quick. I'm just gonna fill the water bottles, wash my hands off so I can get dirty again. And then we'll go up there and we'll sit down for a second. And I'll talk to you guys a little bit more. Get the supply. Heavy lifting. Ugh, sorry about that. Hope it didn't freeze up there. I have to get you guys plugged into life support here in a sec. As soon as we get this bit of supply up here. About every hour, my iPhone gets down to about 20%, and I gotta plug it into a battery pack in order to keep streaming. So we're gonna have to get you guys hooked up here in a second. right there for a minute. Check this out. So while I was down there getting water, I just happened to look over. I seen this stone sort of standing out at me, and that was the stone I just brought back up from the creek. Perfect fucking fit. What are the odds of that happening? We'll fill that little bit in, and that'll be good. Ugh. Creek looking pretty today. Looking good from here. All right, let's go up front. We'll sit down for a minute. And I'll actually try to pay attention to you guys a little bit instead of the workload for the day. And get you guys hooked up to life support so you don't die on me. There we are. I'm fucking starving. Bathing pool area. That was my original idea for that emerald pool. It's not quite deep enough though. I do have a pool back there at the waterfall that's deep enough for wading in. It actually gets up to about your waist, so I guess that'd be good enough for washing up in, right? Get you guys hooked up. Brutal day out here. I had to come out. When I first got to camp, I built that ramp. I had a piece of wood that had washed down the creek, which was another miraculous fucking blessing. A plank of wood washed down the creek, and I found it in a log jam while I was filming tonight's episode of Huntsman. Cut trees and make a garden area. I'm actually wanting to put, I'm thinking about putting flower beds right here and have shady mixed flowers growing right here at the front of the build. We're going all out on this build. Like, we're doing shit to a bushcraft build that nobody fucking does. Just because this is a long-term shelter and we can do that. I'll bet you tomato plants would hold up right there. They'd grow in the shade all right. We could grow tomatoes right here at the front of the build. Or a shady herb. I don't know. We'll come up with something. No, that's next year. This year was just about getting the damn thing up. So today we're getting the firebox done. Once that dries and is good and solid, we'll put our top rock on, which will level that whole thing out, and then start running that chimney. The chimney's got to go up in about 3 or 4 sections depending on how high we can get it. But you put up a couple of feet and you let that dry and make sure it's sealed to the wall, and then you put up a couple more feet. So it's got to go up in sections. Yeah, we got that to do yet. And then the rest of it's just fine detailing, like chinking up all of the beams and all of that shit. You guys don't want to watch me just chink this fucking thing up. The fireplace, we could get that on the live stream because there's a lesson there as far as drafting, how the fireplace works, the science part of it, and then the pointing out that you can use river or creek rock as long as you encase it in clay and you have a clay liner on the inside. So again, we got that cased in clay right now, but I'll still be making clay panels to put on the inside that'll protect those rocks from the fire, so I don't have to worry about them exploding. So anybody that tells you never use creek rock to build your fire pit, you tell them that there's always an alternative to that rule. We made an alternative to every fucking rule since we started this channel. Everything that people swear to, we've come up with a loophole around it. That's what we do. So you can see that gap back there by that back wall. That's going to be all closed down whenever I completely cover that wall, and we get the jewels encrusted in it, all of the sea glass and the semi-precious stones. There's some amethyst, rose quartz, crystal clear quartz, sea glass. There's some uh, mother of pearl in there. There's all kinds of bits and pieces in that bag that we're going to encrust the inside wall with, along with the 2 arches for the candles. We ain't going to get that done today like I thought, because the fire pit took too much clay. And the clay bank over there where I've been digging the clay out is hard as a fucking rock. We got a little bit of rain in the other day, but it didn't rain enough. I got lucky with what I got up here. But I did find a softer section where I can kind of cut some more out. And now that I know what I'm going to be needing as far as the chimney goes, I'm going to be needing the whole fucking bank of clay. Damn, I really wanted to get that wall done today. I might have to come back out this week, tomorrow, Tuesday, Wednesday, I don't know. Come back out, and I don't even know if we need to live stream that. I might just film it, like the interior decorating stuff, as far as, you know, because that's just added shit. It's not really construction. I might just film that, and then we'll show it on Friday night's episode, next Friday night's episode of The Huntsman, how I did interior decorating, putting in candle holders that are built right inside the wall and all of that kind of stuff. It's just imagination. So whenever I'm thinking about my bushcraft build, I'm not thinking about the weather, or is it waterproof, or any of that other shit. I'm like really pushing my imagination to the limits of what can I work into the construction of this build, like fucking stone candle holders that are mounted right inside the wall. It's something you got to think about before you get the damn thing done. It's something you got to think about as you're progressing through it. It's just like these accent walls here, those stone accent walls. I had no idea I was going to do that. I had no idea I was going to put those lines of blue chinking in between the beams. None of that was planned. It just sort of seemed like the right thing to do at the time. Tonight at 8, we got an episode of Huntsman coming out. It's a premiere episode, so there will be a live chat happening with that premiere episode. I'll have some links available for you guys to go check out. My Instagram, my private Facebook group, all of that kind of stuff. We'll pop that up into the chat window, and I'll be there to chat with you while the episode's rolling. In case you have any questions, comments, insults, whatever you want to throw at me, I really don't care. That's a good idea, Don. I'll be right back. We got the bourbon bottle. Huntsman's famous bourbon bottle. This is a unique piece of kit that everybody's asking me where they can get one of these. I don't know what to tell you. But this is our this is Huntsman's bourbon bottle. We are actually, I got it all set up now. It's already on the way. The whole fucking thing is on the way. My winter gear is gonna blow your fucking mind. We're gonna be using some winter gear that you've never fucking seen before. No bushcrafter out there is gonna be using the winter gear that I'm using this winter. And it's all gonna be here within the next couple of weeks. What I'll be using this winter is just fucking epic. It's epic like that. And it kind of matches that. There's a clue. I'm not trying to give too much away. But yeah, we got a whole new look and feel for the channel coming up. The build will be pretty much done going into winter. We got a hunt coming up. We're going to be doing that. And then just yesterday, my family got together and decided that for Christmas, we're all going to throw in money. It's already done, really. We all put in money for a log cabin in Pennsylvania. So we're all going, the whole family is going to the Allegheny National Forest to stay in a log cabin. It's a very elitist looking, arrogant son of a bitchin' looking log cabin. It's just one of those rich people log cabins. It's not the type of license. It's not a campsite cabin. This guy lives in Texas. He's probably an oil tycoon. And anyway, he's running an Airbnb, so we reserved this log cabin. We're all throwing money in to go to Allegheny National Forest in July next year. And that's my wife's idea, that rather than buying presents, like physical presents for everybody in the family, we're going to all get together and buy a memory. So that's actually a unique idea. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to buy a memory. And that's kind of like what we're doing here at this build. It's just like the only reason I had for hauling that big ass fucking crystal all the way down here to this camp and lugging it up to the top of that column the way that I did, as backbreaking and exhausting as it was, it serves no fucking purpose at all aside from, hey, Huntsman's got a fucking giant fucking quartz crystal at his goddamn bushcraft camp. And it was a memory. That's something that nobody else has ever done before. Nobody else would even want to do, but I fucking did it. And we crowned it right here on the live show, which is even cooler because I've been dragging that thing for weeks now. To have it finally put up to the top of the column and none of the rigging broke or anything like that, and we got to crown that column with that crystal right here on a live stream, that's a memory. That's what we're doing here. This build is a fucking memory. It was inspired by memory, and I hope that I have a lot of good memories here too. And I hope you guys have a lot of good memories here with me, because this wouldn't be much at all without you guys here hanging out with me. I'd just be talking to the damn chipmunks that keep running through my front yard. Yeah, something like that. I'm a lot tougher than I look. This is the time of year I was talking about the chipmunks talking to me. Every time I'm out here filming or live streaming, I got these two little chipmunks that chase each other through the front yard there. And they're actually down there chirping and playing right now. So the chipmunks talk to me. The whitetail talk to me. And this time of year, the trees are talking too. We're at that time of year right now where the trees are reversing what they normally do in the summertime. So in the fall, when the leaves start changing, the trees are taking all of the water and all of the nutrients that they have inside of themselves, and they're shoving it down into the ground. So it's a reverse flow. Normally they're pulling water up out and nutrients out of the ground. This time of year, it's shooting back down into the ground. The trees will actually put all of their food reserves into the ground, and that's what they start feeding on during the spring thaw. So the trees themselves, just like any wild animal, is hoarding food for the winter. They won't use it over the winter. They'll use it with the spring thaw. As soon as the ground starts thawing out, the permafrost starts thawing out, then the flow starts going back up. So this time of year, whenever the trees are dropping their water and they're putting all of those nutrients back into the ground, the wood fibers start to get kind of elastic for a little bit. And as the winds blow the trees, you get this creaking sound, and it sounds like the fucking trees are moaning and talking. It's like they're achy to just fall asleep. As I was sitting down here, I took a break after lugging that crystal up 3/4 up the ramp, and I was just sitting here, and I hear this tree over here started creaking, and this one over here started creaking. It's like they were talking back and forth. And that was what got me thinking, yeah, they're starting to put all of their nutrients back down in the ground, storing it up for next spring. We got to be storing some stuff up here at the build for next spring too. I still got to dig clay out and get it bagged up to put inside the shelter, so I have patch to work with over the winter if I need it. We're already starting the store of firewood, so I don't have to come out here and process wood every fucking time I come to the camp. I hate that. I don't know why guys do that. Every time they go to their fucking camp, they want to wander off into the woods and gather up firewood. You should have had that shit ready to go, son. If you was an actual fucking survival situation, you wouldn't be wanting to go hunting it every day. Ranger! Yeah, they never have their camps prepared. Like, you know you're going to be out there filming next week because you want your YouTube revenue. Why don't you have your fucking firewood ready to go? You dumb son bitch. Huntsman does. You gotta go out and you gotta do a wood processing scene, cut up firewood every fucking episode, every time you release a video, because you're not prepped, you're not ready. Shouldn't even be out there. You had that camp for how fucking long and you don't even have a stack of firewood. We're gonna have a stack of firewood inside the build, so I don't even have to worry about knocking snow off of it. That's true, Rich. Everybody loves, and everybody out there in the community loves the epic, overused wood processing B-roll. As a matter of fact, I ought to do that right here. Maybe I would get more subscribers if I didn't do shit except process wood. I just got the better things to do, and I figure you guys got better things to see. A lot of my firewood's coming from scrap I saved all of my scrap ends and everything from the build, and then I just stack it like country boys stack fucking firewood. And, you know, I'm building the store as I'm building the structure. That just made sense to me. But no, everybody else, like, what the fuck do you do with all of those pieces you cut off? Every fucking video, every bushcraft video I see, they're wandering off into the woods. And then they do this shit. And I pointed this out to TA Outdoors the other day. He's walking through the woods, and he's walking away from the camera. And then it comes at a different angle, and he's walking away from the camera. And then it comes at a different angle, and he's still walking away from the camera. And I'm like, hey, you ever get tired of walking back to pick up your fucking camera? Like, you're filming all of this B-roll of your little ass walking through the fucking woods looking for firewood, but you have to cut out 16 fucking hours of footage of where you had to walk back and grab the camera. I don't know why they do that. Like, the majority of their time is just manipulating their fucking cameras. Like, why are you out there? Yep, we stack it. So 20 minutes into TA Outdoors' last video, I think he's talked. Maybe he didn't. I don't remember, because by the time he got through the wood processing scene, I'd done fallen asleep. Steph Margith released a new video last week, or yeah, it was last week, and it was one of them silent bushcraft videos. There's a guy, I think he's in Norway, and he never talks in any of his videos. He just goes out there and does stuff. Never says anything. You got this long hair like me. It looks like a fucking Viking. Lives like a Viking. And he puts out some good content in amazing landscapes, but he's never said a fucking word on his channel. He just goes out there and does it. From a million different camera angles, and that's all he does. He doesn't have to think. He just goes out there and does. I kind of like that. But at the same point in time, I'm sitting there watching this guy, and he looks like this rustic, you know, mountain man Viking type guy, and I'm imagining the only reason he don't talk in his videos, because if he did talk, he'd sound like fucking Mickey Mouse or something like that. Or he has this voice like he's never went through puberty and he's been sucking on helium for 6 months. Hey, Jay and the Sticks, glad you could make it. Working on a Sunday is always a crappy day at work. I need to lay off this bourbon. It's good bourbon though. So we are not getting done what we intended to get done. We did bring our water up. We're going to go back here and get muddy here. We'll finish off the top part of our firebox, and we'll let that dry for a couple of days. And then I can put the cap on it. The cap is just going to be a flat stone that goes, it kind of closes it in a little bit. I'll explain it when we get back there. Come on, let's get back to work. I'm going to leave the bourbon here because I'll be sipping on it back there by the fucking workstation. Ugh. Stop looking at me. So the only thing that I'm going to be doing right now is casing this top bit of stone. I think I got enough clay to do that. And then whenever I get that done, we got to bring it in a little bit. So we don't want the chimney as wide as the fireplace. So in order to bring that in, we're going to be taking flat stones, just like we built the floor with, and we'll be breaking them down to the right size and basically squaring off a top panel with the chimney hole in the middle of it going straight up. So I got some stone down here. Just for example, I wouldn't use this stone, but just as an example, we'll go ahead and take this up here. So after we get these done, we'll just take flat stone like that, just like that, and bring that in to the chimney. So on the inside, we got this bit of overhang. You see how that works? That's how we're going to be bringing it up to the chimney. Now I got to have 3 stones, obviously. We got to, you know, it's got to be the 2 sides and the back. And then we'll have that overhang. So we have the fire in the back, and it heats up these stones, but then it pushes all the heat right up the chimney. And we want to make sure that our chimney, as we're going up, this has to be a little bit heavier clay, so it's protecting the wood that's inside there. It don't heat up. It's a long process making a fucking fireplace in a chimney. But yeah, so when we get this, when this is all set up and everything, we just break up some of these stones where we have 3 panels to bring that in to the chimney, and then we'll start sealing all of this up. Like, we don't need this big ass hole here. The only reason we left it there is because we didn't know the exact design, and it's better to have too much space than not enough. So now that we got this done, then I can bring in the panels. Once I have the panels on here, that gives me a level surface to go ahead and stack stone, smaller stones right here, and just close all this in and seal it up. So that's how we'll be doing that. And check the replay on what, Jay? On the crystal. We'll go look at the crystal one more time here in a bit. I'm gonna set you guys back here. A little bit different angle. Everybody loves different angles. If you just move your camera to a different angle, that's a whole new scene that you can put in your video. And then you don't actually have to do anything in the woods. You can just move your camera around and gather up wood. Somebody tell me to stop criticizing other outdoorsmen, other bushcrafters, other creators, other channels. Tell me. Somebody out there, tell me to stop criticizing other channels. Tell me that I'm wrong about all of these other channels. Tell me. And give me a good reason about why I'm wrong about a 20-minute wood processing scene is not entertaining. Because they got hundreds of thousands of poison oak. I don't know. Even if there was poison oak, I'm not allergic to it, so I'll never get it. They got hundreds of thousands of followers who worship every fucking word that they say, and they never actually fucking do anything of note. Anyway. I probably should, and you're going to hear it on tonight's episode of Huntsman. I am so frustrated with the outdoors community. The more I see, the less I like them. It actually got to the point where I was ready to drop off of all of my Facebook groups, the Reddit forums, all of the social media shit, because, yeah, call them like I see them. And then I get these little dumb mealy-mouthed bastards coming over. Well, a couple of Joe Robinette's boys came over, his subscribers. Been subscribers of Joe's for years. Joey Robinette's boys came over, thought they were going to go one-on-one with the Huntsman. That did not work out in their favor. Yeah, I'm just so fucking irritated with people like fucking dumbasses, man. I come out here and I do my thing. Try to pass on something, try to make something a little bit different, and I'm the one getting criticized for it. Everybody call me an asshole. I know I'm an asshole. I've already said that a million times. I'm an asshole. But don't piss me off. Because if you get in my crosshairs, I'm coming after your ass. I don't care how many fucking subscribers you got. They ain't going to be enough to save you. That little bastard tried to say that too. Oh, little Joey's got over 1 million subscribers. Oh, yeah? Well, if that's true, then why the fuck does he only get like maybe 100,000 views if he's got over 1 million subscribers? They ain't watching. He's got 1 million subscribers and fucking over 80% of them ain't watching because he ain't getting the views to match his subscriber count. That subscriber count don't mean shit. Try to come at me like that. Like that's supposed to be intimidating? Oh, that's a big paragraph, Jay. I try to be entertaining about it. I'll tell you what, man. The obsession over YouTube subscribers, like that's a fucking resume or that makes you legit, that's horseshit. You know the difference, the only difference between me and Joe Robinette's YouTube subscriber count? I've been at it for less than 2 years. We haven't even got to the 2-year anniversary of the channel. How long's Joe been going? 4 or 5 years now on this channel. He had other shit come out before and he deleted it all. It's all a matter of time. When old Huntsman gets up to 1 million subscribers, everybody's gonna be burnt out on Joe. Like Joe's already done everything he could possibly fucking do. Now he's repeating himself. He's already got to that point. He went back to his old camp, doing old shit with a new dog. He's gonna repeat what he's already done. That little motherfucker, his last video, he went out and made a breakfast bagel. A fucking breakfast bagel. God damn it, Joe. I really want to be friends with you, Joe Robinette, but you're not giving me a lot to work with here, son. You just went out to fucking camp. And I said this over a year ago. You just went to your camp and you fixed a breakfast bagel. And that's all you did, talking about, I'm going to come back here to camp and make more breakfast bagels. And all of your subscribers were like, we love you, Joe. Can we see your winkle? Oh, my God. What the fuck is wrong with people? Joe Robinette. And all those great long fucking excursions he does, leaving his wife and kids at home so he can go on his camping trip and hang out with his buddies all the time. And then he does all this epic shit. And when he gets all that done, he goes right back to his fucking breakfast bagel. His signature move. We've seen it. Ah, fucking dumbass. Do something new. How the fuck is it so difficult for anybody to come up with something new? Look at the shit that I'm doing. Who the fuck does this? I ain't never brought a fucking bagel out to the woods. All right. Last clay on top. Alright guys, aside from smoothing out the cracks, that's our firebox. I don't think we need it any higher than that. We still have the overhang to put on it, but this has got to set up for a couple of days before I put more weight on it. That way, I don't have to worry about it cracking up too much. And it's getting cooler out this time of year, so it takes a hell of a lot longer for this stuff to dry than it did in the heat of the summer. But we are all blended right into our stone wall. It's all fused right together. A little bit of rain will smooth out all these rough edges, knock all that off. But we got us a firebox, and we got us a lot of fucking mud on our hands. I'm gonna have to come out here for a day just mining clay. A lot of the build now is clay. Hauling the stone up for the chimney. We got our firebox in there. So let's go in the inside and look at it. Hauling all of the stone up for the chimney, that's gonna be a lot of fucking stone. And a lot of clay to fuse it all together. It's gonna be more than the damn walls. Alright. Oh yeah, that looks pretty good. I'll turn you around here. There we go. So, we bring in our flat stones to level out that top, give us that overhang and close it in so the firebox will be bigger than the chimney. That'll give us our drafting and everything we need as far as pulling cold air out of the shelter and getting warm air to cycle back into the shelter. That ought to work out pretty well. And one stone's a little bit high, but I can level that out with clay and then put our flat stones on there so we have a nice level surface to put the chimney on. And then these sides, it's just a matter of bringing in to right here. So it's just bringing in little stones and tightening that all up and getting all the seam work done. Getting cool. Smooth out this inside here now that I can actually see it. Make sure all those gaps are filled in, all of the excess is used. Waste not, want not. I don't need it much more bigger than that, and then we're still going to come up to about there. By the time we get the next layer of clay and the stones on, it'll be about right there. And then this will be chimney with the smaller stones locking it all into the wall. Good deal. Now we got to go get washed up again, and we're done. Ugh. One more time for the washing. Alright guys, that is going to be it for the building part today. Front yard looking good. I do need to start coming through here. Of course with fall, the leaves aren't the only thing that's falling. I'm getting a lot of sticks and stuff like that up here in the yard that I want to get put on our wood rings. Just so those rings keep producing the fungus and moss and all the other stuff that we love. I'm gonna be taking that big sumbitch there up to camp. I don't want it laying on the ground too much. Starting to get rose hips in here too. Let's take a little walk here. See what everything looks like from up here. I ain't been up here in a minute. I landscaped all this up here. Got all this shit growing the way that I wanted it and never come up here. Almost can't even see the build is blended in so much. Even with that clay, it just blends right into the landscape. If it wasn't for that damn door, once we get the door on, you won't be able to see it at all against that fucking hill in the backdrop. So not only do we have the build going on, but we got all this landscaping to do. Those two big ass logs up there, I really want to get them out of there. I don't know how I'm going to do it because they're massive. I'll tell you what, I'll bet you if we started selling Huntsman's Bushcraft bagels, Joe Robinette would say, hey, can you give me a 20% commission and I'll give you a shout out on my channel Get you a shit ton more subscribers, dude. I mean, like, Joe, I've met your subscribers. They've come to my channel. They tried to argue with me because I don't like your little prick ass, and I don't want your type of subscribers on my channel because they're a bunch of little kids. They like PG-13 content. They ain't ready for Huntsman level content. Come back when you graduate high school. I told that kid that too. That, you know, it's one of those, you know, they don't have no account. They don't have a channel of their own. Came and one of the videos I put out over a fucking year ago, left a nasty ass little comment on there trying to defend Joe Robinette against the old Huntsman. And his mom's probably still trying to get him to stop crying because I was not nice to that kid. I am not a nice person. If you come trying to troll my channel, I'm going to shove your head up your ass and send you back home to mom. And the only thing you can do about it is, Mom, Huntsman shoved my head up my ass. And then you're going to come back after you find your balls again. You're going to try to do it one more time. Oh, I know what to expect this time. I'm going to get Huntsman real good this time for talking about little Joe Robinette. And then you come back to my channel and you find a video where Huntsman said something about Joe Robinette. And you want to get on the comment section and act like you're a fucking man because you're safe behind your computer screen. And then you make your little comment. And then 5 minutes later, you're running back to your mommy, crying, saying, Mommy, Huntsman shoved my head up my ass again. Dumbasses. Don't come trolling me, man. I'm the last person you want to troll. I'm a troll slayer. I'm a troll hunter. We'll kill them all. Joe Robinette's type of people, the people that like that kind of PG-13 content, family-friendly content, Dora the Explorer content, you are not ready to be coming to my channel flapping your little lips. You ain't got what it takes. You best stay in your fucking safe space. I like that. We'll get off the ranting. I like that. It merged right into the wall perfectly. Once we get a rain, that's just going to look like stone wall with a nice arch to it. Yeah, that's looking good. The old pit. I still got to fill that damn thing in when we get all this done. Keep my water bottle secure so they don't fall down into the creek or anything gets to them. Yeah, Huntsman's I'm just not a nice person. It ain't no wonder, you know, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with not, you know, people not subscribing to my channel because I'm an asshole. And because, you know, I say the things I say and I do the things I do. You don't have to subscribe to my channel. Chances are I don't want your pansy ass on my fucking channel anyway. I sure as hell don't want you coming saying, hey, Huntsman, you are so awesome, like you do little Joey Robinette. Do not come to my channel and say, I'm awesome. I already fucking know I'm awesome. Look at my fucking build. Look at my crystal. Look at the world that I'm filming in. Look at the colors. Look at everything I do that's different. I don't need anybody out there to legitimize my existence for me. And I think the world could do with a lot more of that. You know, all the social media and all the other bullshit. You guys don't need anybody out there to approve or disapprove of anything you fucking do, including me. Joe Robinette doesn't need my approval. He's doing just fine. You know, leaving his wife and kids at home so he can go play in the woods with his boys. Apparently she's happy with that. She ain't left his ass yet, unless she just married him for the money. Obviously she didn't marry him for looks. Huntsman needs to lay off the bourbon while he's out here filming. Hey, I got some wood here. You guys want to do an epic B-roll wood processing scene? I'll get more subscribers if I cut a piece of that wood up. We gotta fake it though. If we're gonna cut a piece of this wood up here in the live stream, we're gonna have to walk through the woods for 90 minutes to go find a piece before we bring it up here and cut it. Because that's how legitimate bushcrafters do it. You don't actually have wood at your camp. You have to spend at least 20 minutes going out there and hunting for a piece of wood so you can cut it up. Skin a deer live stream. We got a hunt coming up. We got to start wrapping this thing up. Days are cooler now. The deer are up and moving. Hunting season's on. We got a hunt coming up. One guy that I do respect in the outdoors community is Cold Cracker. Dan over there at Cold Cracker Bushcraft. That motherfucker is a beast. That's one guy I will never say anything bad about. Because Dan's the type of guy that'll show up at my front door, and then I'm going to have some splaining to do. And then me and Dan's going to either get into it or start drinking and laugh about it. Or get into it and then start drinking and then laugh about it. But yeah, Dan Cold Cracker, that is a bad motherfucker. That's one guy I respect. And he's the type of guy who's trying to put out the same message of don't be a puss. So he's out in a video he put out last week. He was out working at his camp. Wasn't even thinking about filming a video. I think he was cleaning his yurt or something like that, and he cut his finger. So he cut his finger at camp. Perfect opportunity to put out a quick lesson. So Dan, being Dan, he just took a piece of fucking cloth and some tape and wrapped it up. No band-aid, no first aid kit. Cold Cracker don't carry a first aid kit. I don't carry a first aid kit. So he just took a rag, wrapped it up with some tape, went right back to fucking work. Not that difficult. He's only going to be out there for the day. It's not like his arm's going to fucking fall off from infection, you know. But man, he got backlash on that. Like, he cut his finger and it was a little tiny cut. He wraps it with a piece of clean cloth and you just put tape around it, basically a band-aid. And man, people went off on him. You need to carry a med kit and you need to do this, you need to do that. And y'all are a bunch of pussies. It was just a tiny little cut. Jess, I've been waiting on you all my life. Glad you can make it. Cold Cracker is one of those guys that can put out a fucking 2-minute video and explain what it took another guy 4 hours to fucking explain. Great channel. You guys ought to check out Cold Cracker. If you want to be following anybody, you ought to be following Cold Cracker. That's one guy I watch. And I actually pay attention to what he says because I know he's not bullshit. You know, he teaches his own class. He's got, you know, his own land. He, you know, does this shit every fucking day. He's a country boy living in Pennsylvania. You know, my kind of people. Not some city slicker trying to fucking fake it to make it. And I never seen Dan go out to the woods and fix a bushcraft bagel. That old formula works though. No, Cold Cracker ain't got old Huntsman fire pucks. No. The fire dip. Huntsman's fire dip. Cold Cracker's a cool guy though. I would love to just hang out with Cold Cracker and drink. That would be some fun shit. Ugh. I do have a few people. I do have a few people that I'll be hanging out with in the future. Oh look, an inchworm. I got an inchworm crawling on me. Gotta be careful. These guys are really delicate. Check this out. Get all the critters, man. I talked to the deer, I talked to the chipmunks, I talked to the trees, and now I'm talking to a fucking inchworm. Get on over there on the fucking log. Behave yourself. Don't give me no fucking attitude either. You ain't as big as you think you are. Inchworms. Attitude. I'm gonna name him Joe. We got an inchworm named Joe. We got a lot of things happening right here at camp. Hey, you're not eating Joe, Dixie. So we got an inchworm who's about to move into our stack of firewood. We got a salamander that lives underneath the Bushcraft build. We found him on a live stream while we were down there. We found a crystal down there. Pulled the crystal out, and there's a salamander behind there. So we put him right back in. We got a dragon living up underneath the Bushcraft build. We got 2 chipmunks down in the front yard. We got a groundhog off to the side. We have a field mouse that lives in a tree up in the meadow. All right here within 20 yards of where I'm sitting. Oh, and don't forget the tree frogs. When we was out here night hiking, we was night hiking through the meadow, found tree frogs out there. People don't pay attention to that kind of thing. I guess that's what upsets me the most is you don't really stop to look at what the world you're living in, the world that you're camping in, whatever. I mean, I'm happy out here, but I pay attention. I fucking just caught an inchworm. That's details. That's details that everybody out there, all the other channels out there that are missing. And it might not like seem like much, but that's the reason you're out there. That's true, Dixie. I mean, I'm trying to, and I really want to focus that next year, like this next year, with the build done and just hanging out at camp, coming down here, having a fire going, fixing food, hanging out at the cottage, maybe bring a bagel, you know, do some epic shit like that, the way normal bushcrafters do. Stop acting like the fucking huntsman and start acting like a normal man. That's probably not gonna happen, but you know, next year I want to focus more. This year we spent so much time on the build. Next year I really want to spend time uh, looking at the world that we built, how winter affected it. All of the landscaping that we did this year is not going to bloom until next year. So next summer, this camp is going to be absolutely fucking ridiculous, and everybody's going to hate me for it. I know they will. And, you know, if I post a photo on Reddit, it's not going to get any upvotes. If I post a photo on Facebook, nobody wants to see that shit, Huntsman. Nobody wants to see your goddamn fancy. I gotta be really quiet, guys. We got a flock of wild turkeys walking right next to us. I got a flock of wild turkeys over on the other side of the creek. If I stay down real low and stay quiet, we might be able to get them on film. I'll turn you guys around in a second. I'm up here ranting and raving. Got this whole fucking flock of wild turkeys over there. Normally they come from behind me. They come down to the creek. This time they're coming from the east, so they're probably wanting to get up behind me. Here we go. I got one watching me right now. Let me see if I can turn this around and zoom in. I don't have my other camera, so I can't zoom in that way. We'll see what we can do here, though. Oh, motherfucker, duck down. Here he comes. I gotta get you guys up a little higher. Turkeys are very skittish creatures, so if we can get them on a live stream, it'll be fucking epic. I have a hard enough time filming them with my regular camera and camo on. Alright, let's see. If I can get you guys at the right angle, you might be able to see them moving up there. Hold on a minute. There's one right up underneath the log. That bottom branch of that down tree, he's scratching right there at the edge. The more I zoom in, guys, the shakier it's gonna get. See if I can go a little bit further. There he is. There they come. You see him? That's a big fucking turkey. They're coming down to the creek. That's a big fucking turkey. Look at that guy. There he is. It is almost Thanksgiving. Well, that's a first for a live stream. Yeah, that is a big fucking turkey. Joe Robinette's Bushcraft bagel can kiss my ass. I can see 3 of them. If we stay here long enough, chances are they're going to come down to the water and be coming right our way. They'll come right up by the build because that's their normal route. I've caught them on trail cam doing that before. I need to shut the fuck up for them to do it though. That's a big son of a bitch. Oh, I feed them. I put birdseed out for the turkeys, corn out for the deer, apples. I put oranges out for the chipmunks and the mice. The deer don't like oranges. So they'll leave those alone for chipmunks, mice, raccoons, and possums. I really want a possum at camp because possums eat ticks. So if I can lure a possum in, I don't have to worry about so many ticks out here in the summertime. Man, that one in the back is a big motherfucker. Hey, hiking deep. We're turkey stalking. Yeah, tuna will bring him in. Tuna's good for my raccoon that I got down here. I hope she has babies. I love baby raccoons. They're so fucking cute. Here he comes. Guys, I was shit if I'm sitting here right at the building and this big motherfucker just walks right by me like he don't care. My uncle used to have a raccoon named Roxy. Raised her from a kit. She used to steal all of his change. And she would hoard it in the wall. Little cubby hole in the wall where she's anything shiny. Yeah, Roxy, they had that coon forever. Oh yeah, they know I'm here. There are turkey hunters out there that would fucking die to be able to sit here and talk the way that I'm talking to you right now and not scare that fucking turkey off. There goes my helicopter. I use the sound of the helicopter a little bit to talk a little louder. He's gonna make his way right towards us. He's almost within range. Got another one moving in the background too. So there's 4 of them over there. I wish I had my turkey call. Bring him right up here. I'm doing pretty good hiking deep. We're just stalking turkeys right now. Sitting here right in front of the build. I was ranting and raving like I always do. We got turkeys. I got one right here in front of me. I got one that's already out in the creek. He's about 40 yards from me. Got two in the creek now. They're coming down for water. Four. You pop up like you're something special. So we got 4 turkeys down in the creek right beside our camp. See if any more come out. We've tracked these turkeys through this woods before. That's 5. Yeah. You guys are seeing wild turkeys and I'm seeing sandwiches. Sorry for that shakiness, guys. It's because I got you zoomed in. Trying to adjust a little bit here. There we go. So how many other bushcraft channels out there get to do shit like this? But I was saying there's a shit ton of turkey hunters out there that would kick my fucking ass right now for sitting here having a flock of wild turkeys 50 yards in front of me, and I can talk and make all this damn noise and they're not running away. And we got 6 of them now. This is a perfect landscape for turkeys. So shallow creeks, very hilly terrain, lots of rocks and pebbles in the creeks. They love this type of turf. This is where they thrive at the most. Look at the beards on those. Got beard hanging down to the ground. See, they got themselves up against the wall right now, though. They'd have a hell of a time getting up that cliff if I circled down to them. They'd have to scatter both ways. When those things start hauling ass, though, they are quick. See that beard on that one there at the right side of the screen? Dangling all the way down to the ground. This is the kind of shit that the bushcraft community is missing. This is the kind of shit that you want to stop and look at. One getting a little antsy. They come down to get a drink, they're going to be just moseying right down the creek. I might run into them whenever, oh yeah. They'd call them right up. They're still only about 50 yards away from me. They're going to dip back around that corner. We're going to lose them. That's how much we were zoomed in. Yeah. That's the kind of shit that, hey Mike, that's the kind of shit that bushcrafters need to be doing out in the woods. Capture moments like that. Capture them on a live stream, even better. That was a cool little moment, and there comes my train. Gotta check the time here in a minute, guys. I do have to get back home before the premiere tonight. So if you think seeing those turkeys on the live stream is something, tune in to tonight's premiere episode of our regular Huntsman series, which normally airs Friday nights at 8, but since it's the Hunter's Moon, we're doing it here on Sunday night instead. And in that episode, we get up close and personal with some epic fucking whitetail. So we got the turkeys right here on the live stream for the Hunter's Moon, and we are going to have some of the best footage, whitetail footage, that I've ever gotten tonight on the episode of Huntsman. I released a little bit of the footage on my social media pages, but not much. Oh yeah, I have a 30-yard max on my, I keep to a 30-yard max on my bow. I'm a bow hunter, so anything over 30 yards I do not shoot. Turkeys are a little bit different because they're so much smaller than a deer. Like on deer hunting, I have a 30-yard max. That's what I got my bow tuned to, and that's what I hold to is a 30-yard. If it's over 30, I'm just not going to take the shot because I like one shot, one kill. But yeah, we could have taken that turkey out with a pellet gun. Let's turn you guys around. We're going to take a little walk here. I got to be wrapping it up. Look at that. This is what other bushcraft channels are missing. So, wrapping it up for today. One more go around here. We did get our firebox put in. We got our mounts for the chimney there in the wall, so all of that can start being tidied up. On our next live stream, we'll go ahead and put our flat stones in and start sealing that big ass fucking hole up. Yeah, tonight's episode is epic. I had so much fun with HB and this new buck. It was a blast. I mean, I couldn't even hold my excitement. So, yeah, we got the firebox for the fireplace put in there. That's looking really good. She'll dry up over the next couple of days, and then we can start sealing that up. Get our flat stones. We got to knock those down. We'll cut them down with the axe, the back side of my axe. So, like all the stones that you see on the floor here, we'll be taking one of those and making a flat surface to the top of that firebox, and then bring that into the chimney. So, and then we'll start working on chinking up our upper wall. And we got to close in that upper space, get all of the clay put on this side, seal the whole damn thing up. We got a lot of sealing to do, a lot of clay to haul. So we're going to be doing that. For those of you who missed it earlier, whenever we first got down here at camp, the mission for the day was to get the crystal done. So we're going to go down here for those who had missed it. And we're going to take a look at Huntsman's Magic Crystal. That I spent the past 3 weeks hauling up here to camp. Yeah, the fireplace is looking really good. I'm really happy with it. But like I said, we got to zoom in there real quick. So I don't want to walk all the way back. We got to get that big ass hole closed in now that we got our firebox done. We'll be closing that hole in with some level stones that will protect the wood part of the wall. And then just seal up the sides. And then it's just a matter of running the chimney up the back. So we got the base done, which is good. That was a good goal. Once that base is settled up really nice, then we'll go ahead and start building our chimney. Chimney won't take too long, really. It's just a matter of getting the supplies up to do it. There's our highlight of our show tonight, right there. I should have brought the damn bottle of water with me. Could have washed it off, but rain will wash it off just fine too, eventually. But there's our crystal. Look at that shot. Screenshot that shit. Huntsman got his crystal set up on a stone column. And that is totally worthy of a screenshot. Couldn't have been a better day for it. For real. Bushcrafters don't capture moments like this on video. I don't know why. That's a magic moment. 90 pounds? Shit, that thing weighs more than I do. A lot more than I do. That is a big motherfucker. While we're sitting here looking at it in the sunlight and all that fun stuff, I'll go up there and stand beside it so you guys can get a size comparison of this damn thing, right? That is a big fucking chunk of stone. That is a big ass crystal. Oh, guys, come check this out. Get over here. I want to show you something. I almost stepped on a little guy. Look at this. Ugh, I'm gonna have to take you off the mount here. Hold on a second. This guy's so tiny. Look at that. How cool is that? We got our ivy growing right there. We got our little mushrooms growing up right here at the base of the column. I just happened to see these tiny little guys, and they are smaller than my fingertip. Look at that. We're gonna protect them. I keep them behind the log. That's cool. See, we got them in there too. Now I have to mount you back up again. Ugh. There, I don't think you'll fall. So yeah, we got 2 little mushrooms growing down there at the bottom of the column. Ivy's growing up, getting a nice grip. I do want to protect the ivy over the winter too, so the ivy's growing from back here in this corner up underneath this log where I planted it. So I'll make sure that that's covered with leaves and probably put some logs over it. Ivy will keep growing in the winter though. Yeah, that was our highlight for the day, was getting that damn thing up to the column. It does, doesn't it? A perfect fit for that column. The odds of that being that damn perfect are slim to none. But that's what's been happening here at this camp is, man, it's just, what are the fucking odds that we had all that place? See, I could have it coming back here a little bit more, but I don't want to disturb the moss. And plus, this kind of dips right there. You see that bit of an angle? I don't want it sitting on that angle because it'll just topple off. It's solid right there. I ain't gonna be messing with it too much, but yeah. I want that moss to keep growing, so I don't want to tear that moss up. And because I want the moss underneath the ivy, you know what I mean? That'll look awesome next year. Yep. We still got, like I was saying earlier in the stream, I'm gonna be landscaping this pathway. So I'll be putting in more mossy logs like this all the way down through here, and then bringing in some stone to add to it so we get that maybe some lichen in there. So it'll be green and white border, I'm hoping, with a blue shale in the middle. We'll see if we can scatter some shale up there, and then it'll just be leading up to the column. And then we'll put blue shale and crystal around the base along with the ivy. That'll work out good. Huntsman's landscaping the entire fucking area around his bushcraft camp because that's what Huntsman does. Alright guys, that was the final tour. I gotta get in here, get my bag. We're wrapping this live stream up. For those of you who want to tune in to tonight's episode, oh shit, you know what, one more thing. One last fucking thing, since it's sitting right here. Hey Sal. We're gonna do one more thing. Turn you around here. Since I got it all just sitting right here, I'm just gonna do this real quick. for now. Put that shit in the back. Yeah, that cross beam there is just there. It's the front part of the ledge that I'm building to chink in that top triangle. And then the door goes in there. It's a whole thing. But anyway, I might not even leave it there because it looks weird now. Might drop it down a little bit where it's even with this point right here. Maybe. Yeah. We'll do that later. I gotta be wrapping it up, guys, getting home, so I can get food and settled up for the premiere tonight. So I still got that going on too. Everything adjusted here again. So we got our firebox. All we gotta do now is put the top on it after it dries up and gets a lot more stable, and then start closing it all in and getting our chimney done. We got to get that done in the next live stream or two. I can't keep working on this damn build for so long. Winter's coming now. The nights are getting colder. The fireplace and chimney's got to be done. So we might be streaming a few more weekly episodes and maybe another longer one next weekend. I don't know. See if I can get this damn thing done. But before we get to the chimney, I mean, we could do the firebox and seal this big ass hole in. But before we get to the chimney part, we got to do all of the chinking on the inside of this wood wall. So there's that. A lot of work and a lot of clay. Leave our crystals out here. I don't need to take them with me. I don't want to carry that fucking weight again. Well, guys, we had a few epic moments here on the live stream tonight. I'm gonna be heading out. Again, there is a premiere episode of our regular Friday night episode airing tonight for the Hunter's Moon, which is already up. The Hunter's Moon rose at around 5 o'clock, so it's already up over the horizon. Tonight at 8, which isn't too much longer away. Premiere episode of the Huntsman with an all-new intro coming out this evening too. Hanging out with white-tailed deer, taking on a bush fit challenge, and we're going to talk about what it's like being out here at my camp with no food, no sleep, completely fucking exhausted and beat up. What went through my head, what went through my fucking heart while I was doing it. I was a wreck. Let me tell you, tonight's episode of Huntsman, I was a mess. By the time I got done filming the episode, I went home, I barely ate, and I crashed. And when I crashed, I fucking crashed hard. I was dead to the world. But we did it all on purpose just so we could capture on film what it's like damn near fucking starving and going without sleep for over fucking 24 hours before coming out to the woods and then doing all of the stuff that you are going to see us do on tonight's episode. It's worth a watching. It's absolutely gorgeous footage. Anybody who loves the wildlife, you're going to want to see it. You're not going to believe what I did on tonight's premiere episode for the Hunter's Moon. Anyway, guys, I gotta be hacking out. Just doing one last check here. Oh, I got cordage to pick up here real quick. I'll throw that in my bag. I don't want to leave it out here. I'd just leave cordage out here and just throw it in the shoulder. But I got these chipmunks and I got a little field mouse, and I just know that they would grab it and shred it all to hell for nesting material. So, yeah, we're not even going to give them the opportunity. I'll just pick up my shit I don't have to worry about it. I can use it later. Moving that crystal up the creek, doing it by hand. These are a pair of tactical gloves, heavy duty military grade tactical gloves, and that crystal ripped the fingertips right out of them. That's how much work I put into moving that crystal up to that stone column. Brand new pair of gloves, had never even put these on before, starting to move that crystal, and it tore the shit out of these military grade tactical gloves. I was pissed. But if I didn't have those gloves on, that crystal would have had my fingertips bleeding by the time I got it up here. It would have been bad. Pack all this shit up. Forgetting stuff. Go home, get something to eat, kind of regroup a little bit. Everybody go take your potty break, fix dinner. It's a hour-plus episode of Huntsman tonight at 8. I think it goes for about an hour and a half. Thank you, Jess. I really appreciate everybody stopped by. I hope you enjoyed it. We got some epic moments captured on film here with the crystal and getting our firebox built, which took a lot more clay than what I was thinking. Capturing the wild turkeys right here on the live stream. I'm probably going to run into them on my way out, which is going to be cool as shit. I don't need to have you guys hooked up to live support. That ought to be fully charged by now. Yeah, it was a great stream. I love hanging out with you guys. Next time we come out, probably going to be doing a lot more of the clay work. So it'll be a bit muddy, but I'll have more time. Probably stream a little bit later. And we'll get some of the build done, but I'll be able to hang out and just talk with you guys for a while. We'll just sit here and bullshit for a while. How'd that sound? I think that sounds cool. I would actually look forward to just coming down here and sitting and bullshitting. That's why I stream from home sometimes. Sometimes I just miss you guys and I want to bullshit. Really ain't nothing happening unless I'm shooting my bow or just hanging out in the fucking garage bullshitting. Can't have a Huntsman live stream without a fucking technical difficulty. We almost made it through the whole fucking live stream without it getting cut out. But it cut out. I apologize. So, for those of you who hung around here, thank you guys for coming with me. We're going to wrap it up here. I'm going to let this here start hiking out. You guys can walk with me for a little bit if you want. So we can say our goodbyes. If you guys want to join me tonight, join me tonight at 8, that's Eastern, for the premiere episode. The live chat will be rolling during the premiere episode, and you guys can hang out with me there in the chat. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions that you guys have, or any of that. We got some social links to share out during that live premiere episode, and it is an epic episode. I'm really happy with it. But one last look at the build, and the sun setting on the Huntsman. Looking good. Love it. Love this build. Love hanging out here with you guys. I hope you guys enjoy it too. So I'm going to be hanging out here. We're going to get the whole iPhone put away so I don't drop it into the water or lose it in the thicket patch, because I don't need to be losing another phone. See if I run into the turkeys along the way, so I kind of want to be quiet a little bit. No more talking. I'll see you guys tonight at 8. If I don't see you tonight at 8, I will see you on the next live stream. I'm out, guys. See ya.